you all. My name is Dr. Harshvardhan Kale. I'm an MD Medicine from Mumbai and Professor Public Health from Oxford. Basically, I'm standing in front of you to discuss about frailty in old people. Now, you must all be wondering what is frailty. Before I jump on to what is frailty, I'll just give a background why did I choose this topic. So basically, when I came into this library for the first time, I observed that there were not many seniors around. So I thought, I being from a public health background and also clinician, I thought I might take up a topic which would be useful to you and a topic which you would be able to relate to. And fortunately, this was one of my review papers when I was in Oxford. So I took up this topic. It was easy for me to prepare as well. Okay, so before I jump to frailty, I'll give you some statistics. 22% of world population is over 60, would be over 60 by 2050. So which is approximately 2 billion people. If you speak of India, there are 81 million people over 60 years of age in India, which is one of the largest in the world. Until now, I had a misconception that India is one of the youngest countries, but unfortunately, we are moving towards being old now. Out of this 81 million people, 75% of the people, they live in the rural areas. Whereas it's contrast to Argentina, where most of that is 95% of the people live in the cities. Why am I comparing between the two setups is because you have more facilities in cities as compared to rural areas. Before I move further, I would really like this to be a dialogue rather than a monologue. So I would request all you gentlemen to contribute as and when you feel so. Okay, let's make it a discussion rather than a lecture because I'm too young to give you a lecture. So no, that's my topic, but you are the master in it at this moment. Yeah. So if we speak of old age is a significant issue in India. Why? Because 66% of people who are above 60 years of age do not have facilities and they are vulnerable as far as food, clothing and shelter is concerned. Also, if we speak of India, we do not have any national health schemes that is only for old people or only for geriatric age group. If we speak of other developed countries, for example UK, they have pension schemes and other schemes for old people to take care of. In India, we only have pensions for people who belong to government sector, not from the private sector.
Old age homes are there.
Yeah, old age homes are there, but how well they function is a matter of investigation.
Some of them are very good.
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are.
They're charging of.
Yeah.
Bangalore and Delhi, all these are very good places to.
So it's basically more from an investment or in business point of view, right? Rather than welcome sir.
Service.
You're not too late.
Let me open.
Open.
Because this is not.
Young man.
Yeah, he's youngest among us. So, if we speak of integrated systems are those systems which take into consideration different aspects of care, social aspects, economical aspect, biological, geographical aspect. These are called as integrated systems. So, whenever we have a better integrated system, we have better quality of life and the frailty is reduced. That is what studies show. If we do not have, this gives rise to frailty, and that's what exactly is happening in India. So, if we speak of frailty is a condition of being weak or debilitated or being delicate. Now, there are several causes that have been put forth for frailty, including lack of food, lack of exercise, lack of nutrition, lack of emotional support. These are all causes that give rise to frailty. But the good part is that it is preventable. So some of them believe that frailty is a part of aging process, but it's not. It is because we lack in several things, which is exercise, emotional support. Person becomes redundant, and that is why it gives rise to condition of frailty. And it does not come alone. When we speak of geriatric age group always have packages. Hypertension package, diabetic package. So frailty also comes with a package, and this includes falls, morbidity, depressions, and other sort of disabilities. There are some theories been put forth which tries to analyze why frailty takes place. Body has a basic function of producing energy, and when this energy is not being produced in a sufficient amount, and even though it's produced, it's not utilized in a sufficient amount, it leads to a condition where body is not able to repair itself. As we know, once you are at the age of 25, the body's repair mechanism starts declining. So once you reach at the age of around 70, 75, most of its capacity is hampered, and that is why people become frail. Unfortunately, in India, though the 81 million of people are above 60, Indian government do not have any schemes for geriatric age group, and they are not prepared. We do not find any health plans that would be coming up for geriatric age group as far as India is concerned. So also, if we find that frailty, because it leads to disabilities and other conditions, it also incurs financial loss.
What I like, geriatric is not been taken like pediatric practice is there.
Yeah.
Up to date, I don't know if any university is giving geriatric post-graduation.
That's true. That's true.
So it is not there.
There is a term known as
There are doctors who are doing geriatric practice.
yeah. There
That
are
is out of experience.
yes, absolutely.
But, is there an academic qualification just as we have pediatric MD or gynec MD like that?
No, we don't have.
General medicine is there. But
Yeah, general medicine is there. We have pediatrics. We have all other specialties. But geriatric medicine, unfortunately, in Indian subcontinent, I'm not even talking of India itself. Indian subcontinent, we do not have courses, or if we at all we have, they are not very popular. That's the problem. Here, sir, I would like to add a point. There is an initiative taken by TISS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, where they have a school known as School of Vocational Health. This School of Vocational Health, along with an healthcare vertical known as Tikshna Mission Trust. Tikshna Mission Trust. It's developing an course which would particularly address to geriatric medicine. It's diploma in geriatric caregiving.
Caregiver,
Yes,
not medicine.
but it's a part of medicine. It's a part of medicine, rehabilitation medicine.
Means open to medical graduates alone.
No, these are open to all people who are compassionate and want to work in this field. Need not always be a medical graduate. So this is one of the initiatives that taken by Tikshna Mission Trust and TSS as far as geriatric medicine is concerned, because there is sheer lack and negligence. There are so many people out there who are dependent but do not get any help, professional help, or whatever help they get, that is not recommendable. So moving ahead, if we speak of other countries which has got models as far as geriatric medicine is concerned, I have listed few. For example, Japan. Japan has comprehensive community care model where, as I said, it's an integrated approach where social aspect, as far as Japan is concerned, they are more towards the social side of geriatric medicine. So they have incorporated social aspect into it along with the physical aspect. As far as Japan is concerned, it has got one of the it is one of the countries which has got highest longevity rates. People have their good longevity. and India is also slowly approaching towards that particular goal. Second is Dominican Republic, where old person centric catering is all needs is the approach. That is, they devise and strategy according to person that has been involved. So it's quite individual approach. Whereas in France, they have several government plans to improve people's health. The Republic of Czech, they have specific care plans as compared to Dominican Republic, develop where they have also have gerontology centers which develop this specific care plans. And if we speak of UK, they have integrated health and social health care centers which take care of this geriatric patient. They also have volunteers from Red Cross and other societies which visit this the homes of these people, because most of them in UK they're staying alone. We have an united or an family which stays together, but in UK it's nuclear. So at the age of maybe around 16, 17, they leave their parent and start staying alone. So most of the old people over there are staying alone, and they are independent to a certain extent. Now,
Scandinavian countries, I'm told, now with Sweden, they have a better facilities for this geriatric.
yeah, basically the developed countries they have because they are initial. Now they have realized that we need to put some attention into geriatric medicine. Unfortunately, there is an financial aspect to it. Speak of. For example, in these developed countries, the care of the old is taken by the government. They have pension schemes, they have other integrated care systems in place, and the burden of this care systems and the plans have been borne by the government. So now they have started realizing that they have put a lot of finance into it, and it's not yielding that much of results. So now they have turned to a preventive side of it. They are thinking that let's prevent it rather than treat it, which has always been an if we define frailty, it's general weakness, inability to comprehend well that arise out of old age, could be termed as frailty. Now there is no common consensus as far as frailty is concerned, but there is an agreement that the condition arises from altered psychological state that affects ability of an individual to withstand stress. As I said, because of all the conditions such as low nutrition, lack of exercises, lack of emotional support, lack of social care, not able to socialize, dependency, redundancy, these are all the causes that leads to frailty. Now there are several interventions as far as frailty is concerned, which unfortunately all these have been studied abroad or in other countries, not in India. So I have mentioned some. For example, Daniels mentioned about interventions including nutrition intervention on disability and physical interventions, which have two components. One is lower extremity strengthening and 6 multi-component program. Now, strengthening to strengthen the lower extremity. So this program, when he conducted his review, he found out that if with proper nutrition, the lower extremity strengthening of the old people is conducted, or they are given some physiotherapy and exercises which would strengthen their lower extremities, the frailty comes down. Now, how do you think this must be happening?
Basically, there is one real heart and there is one not so much heart, because the muscles in the calves, they are pumping the blood back towards the heart.
That's true.
They need to be functioning. So these muscles, calf muscles, need to be functioning well for a good circulation. Not only the heart, but equally important the calf muscles of the leg.
Yeah, that is the calf muscles known as sartorius is known as peripheral heart. So when you walk,
they should also, that is the reason, if they are functioning, then the circulation will be to an extent, okay.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons. What do you think? What could be?
Both the legs.
Yeah, strengthening both the legs.
Both the legs.
Yeah, sartorius. Yeah, it's here. So the muscle is known as sartorius. It's known as peripheral heart. So as you were speaking of Daniel's intervention, where he propagated or he's advising about lower extremity strengthening, which reduces frailty. I would like to have your opinion. Why would he suggest so? What do you think that?
Then mobilization will increase.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the second reason. Can you think of?
Prevention of falls is very common in the old people.
Perfect. Sir, you? Okay, so all this together, yes.
Yes. See what happens if the person is in a position to walk well, then he is not means not scary about a fall. His confidence and self-esteem is
Absolutely.
Emotional.
emotion in the heart.
Perfect. In fact, this is what all Daniel found out, that when we have a better extremity, the patient is able to walk around, as you said.
Socialization.
Yeah, he is able to socialize because unless and until he is
Less dependent
mobile.
on-
Yeah,
What
less
age are you saying this could be happening?
75 plus.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Generally starts.
What's the age, general age people live in India?
Yeah,
Average, no, what's
Yeah, but-
the average?
70.
that's around 70. But people are
Many
now
people are
now the
average.
trend is because of the increased life expectancy, because of better quality of life. People are having and better life expectancy. So people living up to 90, 95, which was a trend in Japan and UK.
Average life span for an Indian
70,
is
70,
about
70. 70. So this was what Daniels has advised. Now there are other researchers also known as Walson Apsuna, who has suggested exercise, hormonal or anti-inflammatory interventions. Inflammatory.
Implement.
Yeah. Also, he advises or stresses upon comprehensive geriatric assessment and treatment. For example, geriatric assessment would take into consideration all his physical problems, whether he has hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or any other condition, and also his psychological aspect, whether he's into depression or dysthymic, or he's not socializing to that extent where he should. So
Another important aspect I think one will have to look into for an elderly patient, the hormonal status,
yeah,
particularly the thyroid, the testosterone, these hormones, and even the stress hormone, the adrenal hormone.
yeah, adrenocorticosteroids.
All these things, because they will be on the decline now.
Yeah, they tend to decline with because all these glands they work on a negative feedback mechanism and positive feedback mechanism. So when there are optimal levels in your body of these hormones, a negative feedback goes to the gland stating that do not produce more hormones. We have optimal level. Whereas the levels when fall down in your blood, and positive feedback goes to the gland stating, oh, we need more hormones. But with age, these mechanisms get a bit hampered. So an optimal amount of levels are not been maintained in the body. And this also leads to weakness, debility, being delicate.
Particularly the diabetes part, the thyroid part, and then the sexual,
Yeah.
all these things come with age.
Yeah, all these spheres do get affected as in when one ages. Now, as there are interventions, there are counter interventions also, or there are counter productive investigations also, which try and nullify the investigation that has occurred before. Now, Daniels argues that there is no evidence found to the effectiveness of nutrition interventions and lower extremity strengthening. This is what he has argues. He also found that 6 multi-component program addressing a variety of physical parameters which focused on endurance, flexibility, balance, and strength were more effective and beneficial.
One minute. Endurance,
Endurance, flexibility,
strength,
balance, and
balance.
strength.
four हो गया.
Yeah. And there are other this also like these are few of the physical parameters. Then there are psychological parameters also, as I mentioned, which because it's being an integrated approach, they also take into consideration the psychological aspect. So as he had rightly mentioned that he's able, just because he has better lower extremity strength, he's able to socialize. So now the Swedish National Institute of Public Health mentions that the health promotion is an effective way to decrease frailty in old people. Now how come health promotion can be a better way to prevent frailty?
One is
Because that will change the lifestyle also.
How?
How means awareness.
That's one tool.
one prevention will take place now. Yes. If I'm conscious about that, I know certain things are detrimental to my health, I will try to avoid them. Now I know for a certain which I should cut down on drinks. I should give up tobacco if I'm taking one.
So advocating and better lifestyle.
All these things. So things which are going to affect my health.
Yeah.
That absence of exercise, the certain mode of sedentary, all these things.
So speaking of exercise, how many of you exercise regularly?
See,
Oh,
We
yes.
do, but not regularly.
I'm told, I'm not regularly exercising, but I'm told more important is a movement.
Yeah.
That if I'm staying in a place, means at a chair, for more than an hour, I'm actually stagnating.
Yes. Your blood
Even
supply.
After, even less than an hour, even if I'm getting up, just might be I'm just going up the door and coming back, I have done an exercise. And they say if this type of exercise if an elderly person is going to continue, it's adequate enough. It is not in a position to go for a long walk. I don't know to what extent.
Now,
but
if
it's
I may add to it, at this age, it's more important to have a strong heart. So, exercises which strengthens your heart are advised. Now, the one you were mentioning about is also beneficial from a different point of view, which I am going to explain to you. What happens is when you sit for a long time, and especially when an elderly person sits for a long time, what happens is circulation as such is a slow one. It gets stagnated, and because it gets a bit stagnant, it tends to produce clots
Cross.
in the circulation. And if this clots get stuck somewhere in your heart, in your brain, you might suffer from a heart attack if it gets stuck in your heart. And if it might get stuck in the brain, it gives rise to stroke. So this particular form of exercise is beneficial for that, because once you start moving and your peripheral heart starts pumping, the chances of developing a clot is very less. But apart from that, every other person should see to it that his heart is strong, and for that brisk walk is an good exercise. Now at this age, brisk walk is not something that you have to walk very fast, but it's something which you are able to sustain. The moment you start feeling breathless, dizzy or something, you may sit down. That's perfectly fine. But 45 minutes of a walk is a must for everybody, and that too at a stretch. You may start with 10 minutes, for example, and continue, and eventually go up to 45 minutes. But that should be your target. That maybe in a 2 month span, I'll be walking for 45 minutes at a stretch.
And brisk walk.
Yeah, brisk.
Even for people above 80 years.
Yes, I would give you an example of a gentleman. I just forgot his name. He stays in Nasik. He's of 95 years of age, and there is an ground in Nasik known as golf club. In Marathi it's called Anant Kanere Maidan. So in British time people used to play golf over there, so it's known as golf club. So it's the golf club radius is around 1 kilometer, and this person non-stops jogs there for 8 kilometers. 95, 8 rounds.
At 95.
95.
Great.
Everybody is astonished that how come he is able to do it, and he said, just because I'm walking,
That is why I am staying.
I'm
Surviving.
and he does not have any diseases.
Okay.
He said, I'm used to such type of exercise since my childhood, and at the age of 95 also he has continued doing it. I won't suggest you doing it right now.
Alright.
Walk 8 kilometers. Tomorrow you will come and blame me. Oh, this guy told me walk 8 kilometers.
No,
So-
you have to increase slowly, endurance.
Yeah. So the underline or the highlight of the story is that if you maintain yourself, or if you keep your heart strength strong, then the rest of the all the mechanism the bodies are automatically taken care of. So
How much is the suggested? 2 rounds, 3 rounds?
pardon?
How much would you recommend? 2
More
rounds?
the merrier.
No,
More than
no,
Depends.
Doing it.
Very
Depends. It depends upon.
I do about 10 kilometers every day.
Yeah. So he's
Running.
Just one thing like morning or evening?
Morning.
Morning.
I mean, I together is about 20 into 5.
so it all depends. But you could always start with 10-15 minutes a day.
No, but our heart's endurance limit, how without any machine or something,
We can make measure.
how you can measure? I mean, how fast it comes to normal, or
No,
I mean, there
with-
is some formula, no, within 3 minutes or something.
Generally, yeah. Generally,
The rate.
Rate,
heart rate. Yeah. Generally, the heart rate it comes to normalcy within 3 minutes of the exercise. But that's for a normal heart.
normal heart.
Once you start aging, the period keeps on increasing, and it's a bit individual as well. Because see, heart works upon an electrical system. The stimulus that it gets, there is a node in the heart known as SA node, which gives the stimulus to heart to beat. So the more the stimulus your SA node gets, the more your heart will beat. As simple as that. So it's many times it is more individual. So I would suggest that if you are feeling fine, comfortable within 5 to 7 minutes, it should be fine. So that is why I am recommending, if you are going for a brisk walk, don't overstretch. The moment you start feeling a bit breathless, a bit dizzy, stop, sit. This is maybe that is your endurance level.
Individual can monitor whether his heart is strengthening slowly. I mean,
Your stamina would increase. Simple measure, your stamina would increase. For example, if you are able to walk maybe a kilometer in half an hour, you'll be able to do it in maybe 20 minutes.
Kilometer generally, I think I've seen 15.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example. Just an example.
Bye.
Okay, just an example that the same distance you would cover in lesser time, and you would not feel fatigued.
that is.
You'll not feel fatigued, you'll not feel tired, you'll not feel exhausted. To the contrary, you should feel fresh and energetic. If you're feeling so, consider yes, your heart is strengthening.
Is swimming okay?
The best form of exercise, swimming.
So just 20 minutes is okay?
Yeah, perfect. It burns a lot of calories, and it actually exercises all your muscles, including your lungs.
Not only muscles, even the hair. Body hair and swimming, that water movement, current. Even the muscles.
But the problem with swimming in India is the water is too much chlorinated.
Chlorine, and that's the reason you lose.
Yeah, so instead of being beneficial for the hair, I'm glad that all of you have hair on your head. So instead of being beneficial, you start losing it. I've experienced it. So moving ahead, if you speak of Swedish National Institute of Public Health, it has introduced an healthy aging project which has holistic approach and incorporates various determinants of health, which I have already mentioned: the social determinant, the economical determinant, the physical, the psychological, and the ecological and geographical variant also. Now there are some researchers known as Lally and Chrome, which argue that the exercises has beneficial effect on old people with comparatively lower values of IL-6, that is interleukin 6, and CRP in physically active people. For example, both of these, IL-6 and CRP, both of these are the type of substances which causes anti-inflammatory or inflammatory responses.
Which one?
IL-6 and CRP. Those are interleukin 6 and creatine protein kinase, C-reactive proteins. So what happens is this type of proteins are produced in your bodies when there is an inflammation in the body, right? So when this particular levels are lowered because of the exercises, automatically they say that the frailty or debility or physical disability decreases. They have also argued that a positive psychological state has a beneficial effect and decreases frailty.
I would just like to take away from the allopathy towards the Ayurveda.
Yeah, sure.
Because you brought on this inflammation part. As a matter of routine, the advice for an elderly person is raw herb, turmeric,
Yeah,
raw,
turmeric, right.
fresh, then garlic and this ginger.
All right.
They should take a paste of it daily, freshly prepared with their meals, about a spoonful of it. And all these three ingredients are anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, they have anti-inflammatory properties.
So to what extent it might be helping, nobody knows. But this is what the Ayurveda says.
I would really request the Help Library to arrange a lecture for this. They might find people who would be in a position to really give you some useful advices as far as the Ayurveda and dietetics part is concerned. When there are interventions, there are impact as well. So, if we speak of impacts, Frelal et al. Argues that the multifactorial interdisciplinary intervention, which consolidates physiotherapy, diet management, and community exercise programs, result in decreased disability. So, if I may ask your opinion again, how come if we combine physiotherapy, diet management, and community exercise, how would it lead to decreased frailty?
Because it
Improve the
encompasses
physical
all the
fitness,
aspect,
yeah.
lifestyle.
Overall, this will be improving the physical fitness of the individual.
Yeah.
That's one reason.
And because of the physiotherapy part of it, that will be, first of all,
It's a sort of
exercise or anything that will be done in an what is called more scientific way with minimum chances of injury.
And communal
And any
emotion
injury taking place,
is
it will be attended to.
Perfect. As far as the community exercise program is concerned, I would like to add to it. What happens in community exercise program is it acts as a positive reinforcement. First of all, you get a positive energy, giving yourself, you're setting yourself that I need to attend this program because my fellows are also attending. If he is attending, for example, if we start a community exercise program here today, tomorrow, and all of you are attending, sir will also think that if this four are attending, why should I not?
That's
First of all.
and with community sharing will take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he shared.
Yeah. So, and second thing what happen is that inhibitions go off. If I select you alone, make you stand and tell you, okay, do this sort of exercises, you might be inhibited initially or you might not do it out of inhibitions. But if I put you in a group and tell you to do exercises, the inhibitions are gone once you are a part of group. Then people try out exercises. Third thing is that motivation factor that is associated with community exercise programs, that you get motivated. Once you're in a group, and you're doing something, basically, human is a competitive animal.
Yes.
So if he sees that, oh, my counterpart is doing it, why should I not also do it? As simple as that.
Exercise part, as another, I think it is not very complex, it's very simple. That it is just a freehand, what the children are doing at PT exercise.
Yes,
They are
absolutely.
adequate enough. And nobody need to be shy about it, and this could be done in one's own room. One need not have to go out.
I would really recommend if you do it in fresh air, it has more beneficial effect.
And it's a place in a place like Bombay.
That's absolutely true.
More likely that my room might get
To the extent what is
better
possible.
there.
Yeah, whatever.
Then what happens going to the ground, because I have experienced it, you get bumped by either a cricket ball or a football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the grounds are limited and youngsters are the first claim, the seniors are the last claim.
Yeah, we do not have
Because we are
much
outgoing
nana nani
population,
parks.
they are an incoming population.
Yeah,
So we have to give preference to them.
unfortunately.
This is true because and in my society also, old people are scared to take a walk because of the people.
Absolutely.
And I had that experience.
Children are playing
Not,
football
sir,
and
not
all
even
this.
old people. People like me are
Yeah,
also
yeah.
afraid.
Right.
Walking around.
And they-
When a ball will hit me, I don't know.
Correct, correct.
I was walking in the ground, on the ground. And then the football again, lucky, it did not hit this way, it hit
Oh.
this way, and the specs gap.
Oh,
But supposing you could have it on to like hurt my eye,
absolutely.
and you can't do anything about
You
it.
can't do anything.
Because the first claim is of the youngsters was the ground.
Yes.
They will tell you, दादाजी इधर क्यों आते हो?
हाँ,
दूसरी जगह जाओ ना.
It's a fact, also, they don't have a ground.
या हम कहाँ खेले? आपने तो खेल लिया. आपके टाइम पे तो मैदान थे.
And one way it is right because
Yeah.
of मैदान ही नहीं है ना, तो whatever available space they will play
Yeah, and they can make use of anything.
anything.
Believe me, anything. Okay, so moving ahead. Didwick mentions that the randomized control trials have shown beneficial effect of lower extremity strengthening exercises and balance training on decreasing frailty, and also mentions
What
Frailty.
is balance training?
balance training is a specialist form of training where people who have an hampered lower cerebellum, that is the lower brain, they are hampered, they are not able to balance themselves. And a specialized form of physiotherapy and exercises are being advised to them in order to maintain balance while walking, especially on uneven surfaces.
Okay.
So this leads to
Problem of balance, not only to elderly people, even people suffering from Parkinson's.
yeah,
They can't, they lose confidence in walking.
because a lot of trembling is associated with Parkinson's
They have
disease,
the balance over there. They are not in a position to balance themselves.
but that's a progressive form of disease, and interventions have been commented on it, which might be a different lecture if we speak of. So, but it is a part of geriatric medicine, especially so all forms of dementias, especially the Alzheimer's, if you have heard of. So, if we move ahead, Chan argues that old people subjected to thrice a week exercise program had beneficial effect on them in the form of increased bone density and improved vitamin D levels. So, if we try and recapitulate, everything is revolving around exercise and nutrition, which is very important when you are approaching an old age. Daniel mentions that randomized control trial of progressive functional rehabilitation confirmed its effectiveness and lead to positive outcomes in the form of better physical fitness and improved confidence in the balancing. So, if we pick up the highlights, first is exercise. Strengthen your heart, strengthen your body, strengthen your bones. have proper nutrition. These are the highlights of all the interventions. So, if we speak of effective interventions, it can be concluded that the interventions that can be successfully applied to reduce frailty in older people can be categorized into physical and psychological interventions or both. Because I personally believe that in Indian subcontinent, where psychological aspect is, or in any continent for that matter, psychological aspect is an aspect which really plays an important part in person's life. If you are depressed, you might not want to do anything else. You might not even want to exercise or eat nutritious food. So the effective interventions include multifactorial interdisciplinary interventions, lower extremity strengthening exercises, balance training, thrice a week exercise program, and progressive functional rehabilitation. The effective intervention not only takes care of the physical need of frail old people, but also takes care of the psychological needs. Now, though these interventions are effective, but still there are some limitations of the interventions. For example, Beswick argues that though the multi-dimensional complex interventions can be applied successfully, however, they do not need individually modified, they do not have individually modified approach to achieve better results as an individual need differ. We are speaking of interventions which are applied to a population, but here Beswick, he differs from what the interventions have been applied for. He says that each individual is different. He has got its own needs, and that is why you need to have an individual approach or an person-centric approach, which we have seen in one of the interventions by Czech Republic, where there was a person-centric approach rather than addressing a community. It is also important to address the psychological needs of old people in order to achieve better success. Possible limitation of intervention could be that they address only the physical needs and miss out on the psychological needs. So only taking into account the nutritional aspect of elderly frail individual does not reduce frailty. Various physical elements may pose as a limitation. You want to exercise, but you may not, or you may not be able to, just because of the physical limitations. As you said, Parkinson's.
I think exercise is a bit strong word over here. What is essential, I feel personally, is keeping oneself physically active.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it that way, to take a home example, means for elderly people at home, particularly the ladies,
Yeah.
who are doing the household chores, they are not strenuous physical exercises, but as long as they were doing the what we call that grinding, they're keeping themselves healthy, they live to a long age.
Yes, absolutely.
Years, barring what we call this infective diseases. If at all they were prey to infectious diseases.
Yeah.
But they are not prey to what are called these age-related debilitating diseases.
Now the trend has shifted from a communicable disease to non-communicable diseases.
Now it has come, but over there that time, and they are not doing any exercises, but keeping themselves physically active all the time.
Right.
And they were not strenuous exercise, they were not taxing them, but they were keeping them mobile, they were keeping them involved.
Yeah.
So as long as a person is keeping himself mobile and keeping himself involved in some activity or other, I think it is good.
Even studies have proved that daily activities that women do, including sweeping, mopping, and washing clothes, not in a washing machine, but with hand. Washing clothes, these are a good form of exercises. And they burn a lot of calories and they keep you active, as rightly mentioned. So Ferrell argues that the medical conditions, including musculoskeletal conditions like arthritis, presents as a limitation as the participant experience pain while undertaking physical exercises. So these are few limitations of these interventions. So if we move on to conclusion, I would like to reiterate that a successful intervention needs to address nutritional, physical needs and also the psychological need of the person. Indian system needs to take into account the rising problem of frailty. Government of India should have a national scheme for old people suffering from frailty, and the preventive aspect is far better than actual treating frailty. So these are some of the points as far as frailty is concerned. If you really want to contribute something else, please do.